There were many underrated players this year in the NFL, but one player in particular to me just did not get the credit that he deserves, and that's Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. as a rookie had 1,282 receiving yards. He finished third in the NFL in receiving yards and became the first rookie in over 20 years that finished top 3 receiving yards. Thomas Jr. had 10 receiving touchdowns on a season. That is more than CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, and A.J. Brown. Those 10 receiving touchdowns led all rookies this season. Brian Thomas Jr. had 14.7 yards per catch. That is more than Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and CeeDee Lamb. And the 14.7 yards per catch is also more than rookies Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, and Ladd McConkey. When it comes to rookies this year, everybody has talked about Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, and Ladd McConkey, but somehow Brian Thomas Jr. is never in that conversation, and it makes no sense because, in my opinion, he was the best rookie receiver this year. Brian Thomas Jr. had 78 more receiving yards than Malik Neighbors, despite having 37 less targets, and 88 more receiving yards than Brock Bowers, despite having 21 less targets. And you also look at the fact of how great Brian Thomas Jr. was this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who struggled a lot. And you also look at the fact that Trevor Lawrence missed 7 games this year for the Jaguars. Even when Trevor Lawrence was healthy, he was very, very bad this year, arguably his worst season yet in the NFL. So imagine if Trevor Lawrence played a full 17-game season, how much better Brian Thomas Jr. would have been. The Jaguars now have a new head coach in Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. He helped Tampa Bay have one of the best offenses in the NFL, where Baker Mayfield had 4,500 passing yards this season. A Tampa Bay offense that had 5 different players have 40-plus receptions. And one player in particular for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Jalen McMillan, the rookie wide receiver who was a third-round draft pick. He was second this year in receiving touchdowns with 8. The only rookie receiver who had more than him is Brian Thomas Jr. Millen, as a third-round pick in a very crowded wide receiver group, with 500 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns on the season, and he was a third-round pick. Now imagine what Liam Cohen can do with Brian Thomas Jr., who had one of the best seasons, not just for a rookie, but for one of the best seasons for any wide receiver in the NFL, who is a first-round pick, who is now getting back his quarterback. With Lawrence coming back from injury, you bring in an offensive-minded coach. I really think there's a chance that Brian Thomas Jr. could have more receiving yards in the 2025 season than he did his rookie campaign. In the past decade or so, we've seen some of the best wide receivers in the NFL come from LSU, like Odell Beckham Jr., Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. And I think that next great receiver is Brian Thomas Jr. The sky is the limit for Brian Thomas Jr. I know the NFL season is not officially over yet, but heading into next year, in my opinion, without a doubt, already the most underrated player heading into the season is Jaguars wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. Don't be shocked when he has a great 2025 season and gets on people's radars as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Had an unbelievable rookie campaign, and I think nothing is stopping him from having a great season next year. Brian Thomas Jr. is the NFL's next elite receiver. That about does it for this video. If you're new to my channel or if you've seen my videos before, make sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Sports Behind Show.